we do it? It goes back to the mind. We're still talking about the issues of the root. Have you ever wondered, when we go to the World Trade Organization, we know Ghana, the best cocoa in the world, comes from West Africa. It's only the past few years that Ghana was allowed to add value to the cocoa. Prior to that, if Ghana had said we wanted to add value to our own cocoa products, tariffs would be slapped on those value-added products that it wasn't even worth the value addition. What are our ministers of trade doing about that? The World Trade Organization, an organization that's giving a blind eye to the biggest abuses of the African continent. Ghana cocoa is being mislabeled. Tell me, you travel throughout Europe, every hotel you go to is Swiss cocoa, Swiss chocolate, Swiss this, Swiss that. Show me 1 acre of cocoa in Switzerland. And yet nobody says anything about it. I kind of like the Nigerian guy who walked into a museum in Britain. There was a humongous bronze statue that was in the entrance. And the man brought his tools. I don't know if some of you heard about him. He brought his tools into the museum and he started unscrewing the statue. And when they come to say, what are you doing? He says, this is mine. It's stolen product. I am from Benin. This is Benin bronze. It belongs to me. He created a scene, but he made a point. Because he said, if my ministers cannot do it, I will. Are we stupid or what? As I say some of these things, it's almost like it's a joke. It's like it's a cartoon movie. It's a comedy show. But unfortunately, this is our reality. Why is it that we are not capable of fighting back? East Africa, the best teas, products out of Africa are taken into Europe and relabeled, and we know it. When I was in Washington, I would talk to my colleagues. I made a lot of friends. I said, but why do you abuse the Africans like this? I attended a conference where they had journalists from all the major medias. And I asked the question, I said, why do you report lies about Africa? Why do you tell falsehoods? And one journalist from CNN said it very nicely. He said, Ambassador, we say it because nobody challenges us. It's that simple, my brothers and sisters. We say it because nobody challenges us. And he said, if somebody challenged us, we would stop. But you Africans don't. You tell me, why is it that we are here in Ghana, there is a military base here that American soldiers can walk in, no passport, no ID, they walk right through. If they commit crimes, they rape women, they kill women, no policeman in Ghana can touch them. Why? Where is the Ghanaian military base in the United States? Where is the French military base? Where is the Burkina Faso military base in France? Where is the Nigerian military base in Russia? Every superpower is building bases throughout Africa. Where are the African military bases in those countries? I like Nigeria, you know. Nigeria said when the US government increased their visa to $250 to get a visa to go to the United States, Nigeria said, no worries, you also have to pay $250 if your people want a visa. But turn around and go to Namibia, I was shocked. Namibians pay about $170 to get a visa to go to the United States, but Americans, when they go to Namibia, nothing, zero, not a penny. Just come. Now guys, let's have a serious conversation here. Who is stupid? Whose problem is it? We are the problem. What is leadership doing? Leadership is doing nothing. Leadership is voting on sheer stupidity. we are jokers. What are we doing in our parliaments? And that is why you see what's happening in Burkina Faso, what's happening in Niger, what's happening in Mali. The youth are saying, now we know. Now our eyes are open. Now we know who the real problem is. Yes, we know the enemy as the former colonizers. We know the enemy as the multinationals who are in our countries, siphoning as much as they can. Yes, we know the NGOs are nothing but wolf in sheep's clothing. Yes, we know some of the embassies are no good. They are there to make sure that the instability in our countries continue. We know all that. However, we also know that our leaders could stop it. So yes, it is that the youth are rising. The youth are saying, you leaders, if you do not do the right thing, we will replace you. So we need more Traores in Africa. What's happening in Burkina Faso must be supported. What's happening in Niger must be supported. What's happening in Mali must be supported. The youth of Africa are sick and tired of being sick and tired. The issues of the root must be addressed. World Bank must stop giving us frivolous loans. World Bank must treat Africa fairly. Ours is a simple ask. We are simply saying to the world, we demand Africa that can be treated fairly, an Africa that can be treated as equals on the world stage, an Africa that is free of racism, bigotry, and hate. Our ask is a simple one. Our position is of stating the facts, stating the truth, constants that do not change. We're simply asking that the world does unto us what they would want done unto them. Anybody that has an issue that Africa has taken is somebody who is under earth. We want a peaceful world. We want a world that is just. And that is all we are asking. That is all our children are asking. Our children are saying we're tired of watching our uranium power 2/3 of France while they call us a dark continent. Our children are saying we're sick and tired of seeing our mineral wealth fund Western education while we don't have quality education in Africa. Our children are saying we're sick and tired of seeing our natural resources fund healthcare in the Western world while we don't have access to that Western world. So it is the revolution that has been proclaimed, the revolution the likes of Kwame Nkrumah and others had hoped for. While it may have taken us years to get where we are, the unfinished business that our Pan-African fathers started back in 1963 must be completed, and our youth in Africa are acutely aware of that. The leadership that is not awakening, the leadership that doesn't understand that imperialism no longer has room in Africa, neocolonialism no longer has room in Africa, colonization no longer has room in Africa, exploitation of Africa can no longer continue. A leader who doesn't understand that is a leader whose days are numbered. The African youth are not taking it anymore. The African youth are awakened. Their eyes are open, and they're saying, you either stand up and defend what belongs to us, or we will replace you, plain and simple. The unfinished business that our Pan-African fathers, the unfinished business that Kwame Nkrumah and many others started, it must be completed, it must be finished. You and I, we have a responsibility. Youth, make us accountable as your elders. Make your leadership accountable. If your leadership is not accountable, replace them. I thank you.
All right. Welcome back again, sisters and brothers, kings and queens from Africa. Now, this one is so, touchy. I know you guys, about Dr. Chiombori, Arikana Kwao, the former US ambassador for Africa. She's been the forefront advocating for the African issues to the Western world. But up to a certain point where she realized that things weren't going exactly as she had been promised. When she realized that it wasn't that particular, as it had been promised previously. When she came to power, as you just said, okay, she started with on our previous video that I did upload. Chiombori, tries to take us through systematically and structurally what went wrong, how things were happening, the default settings that Africa will always be at its status quo, by meticulously and choreographic kind of settings that will see Africa not rising above its you know standards. Dr. Chiombori vehemently tries to say that, you see, what is high time that at least Africans need to wake up and realize what their true potential is and embrace their true um, identity, and also their true potential and their true value. She meticulously does that one by reminding us that on also the puppet African leaders that, hey, much of the activities and the takings of the so-called leaders in Africa, they don't deserve to be in power. She goes ahead and she talks about all those particular African minerals. Despite the African continent being referred as the dark continent, it still deserves to be the one that keeps on providing all those rich minerals, uranium, that are lighting up the Western countries, and then as the African continent is being referred as to the dark continent. Who's fooling who here? So, guys, I feel that it is high time, of course, Africans and especially the Africans in the diaspora, and this one goes specifically to the Africans in the diaspora. You're in this particular video and you've watched up to this particular very moment. You're a very important person. A thumbs up, guys, right there. Let's keep on enlightening and educating, and also spreading this particular news that what are the true authenticity of the Africans as far as you see where they are stationed, or irrespective of where they are, whether they're in Africa or outside in the diasporans. And I find that I do agree with her sentiments to some extent that, hey, Africans need to wake up and realize that it has been story in, story out, and nothing is changing. Something really needs to change, something big, something a paradigm shift is really required as far as the African perpetual existence, and also trying to raise its standards into the international level is concerned. So I go by late in this particular platform, guys. Do drop me your comments on the comment section. What exactly you think? Are we in the right track? What needs to be done? When did the raid started beating us, and when, where, and what needs exactly to be done as far as African leadership and its mineral endowment and management, and the rising up of the youths who are now waking up, realizing that, hey, the problem has not always been the West. It has been a coward leaders who are playing sycophants to the West. I leave it at that particular point, guys. Let's meet in the next upload. Cheers.